Hi friends, I'm going to introduce you to Equalism. This is a series of two videos. In this video, I'll explain what Equalism is and what it entails as in totality. And in the next video, I'll explain how it's better than capitalism as well as communism. Well, as you must have already guessed, Equalism is something which you can refer to as capitalistic communism or communistic capitalism, whichever way you want to put it in. I would rather define equalism as a kind of a society which envisages that every person is equal on a wide spectrum, not as a strict equalistic society as communism envisages, or a society, capitalistic society, where you can be as rich as you want to be, or you could be pathetically poor. So basically, it's a middle approach. Now, when I say equality over a spectrum, equality of people over a spectrum, what I'm saying is all people are equal, irrespective of their color, religion, caste, or any other social demarcation. But financially, the equality is over a spectrum, a financial spectrum, a spectrum where there is poorest of the poor on one hand, who is the responsibility of the government, and the richest of the rich, which have got a certain cap beyond which they cannot accumulate wealth. So roughly, I'll say that every individual, irrespective of what sort of social background that individual comes from, if that person has got no job or no money, then that person will be a government responsibility. And other people who are employed by other agencies, they will be on a particular scale of salaries. Now, the thing is, let's take the example of Australia. Say in Australia, a person who's getting dole from government, he's getting, say, $375 a week, which is basically $1,450 for the whole month. So let's say the poorest person, who is the government responsibility, he is getting $1,450 every month from the government. Now, in Australia, most of the people are in the bracket of 2,800 to around 5,000 range of salary per month, which is basically 2 times to, say, 3 times more than the person living on dole. So basically, most of the population, which is the lower middle class, is 3 times better than the person who is on dole. Now, the equalism takes this approach and extends it to the richest of the rich. And how that works is, say the poorest of the poor, whatever the poorest of the poor gets from the government, most of the people will get 3 or 4 times of that salary. But the maximum salary that any employee in any firm will be able to withdraw will be 10 times the salary of the poorest of the poor. So by Australian standard, 10 times of $1,450 is like roughly is basically $14,500 a month, which is 10 times, which gives you a real good income, because considering that for 12 over a period of 12 months, that's more than say around 1,80,000, something around that. I haven't calculated it. It could be more or less, but 1,80,000, which is a damn good salary. So that will be the cap for the salary class. And then comes the business class. Now, in equalism, the business, every big business will be a government undertaking. The cap will be that every person can own only one business, just one, no more than that. If we have a look around us, there are chains of businesses, business houses. The one who are rich, I'll talk about this in detail in my next video, where I'll compare equalism with communism and capitalism. But just to say is that the cap will be that the businessman, any person can only own one business and not more than one business. But the thing is, the maximum money that businessman can take out of that business will be 10 times to 15 times the money that the poorest of the poor will be getting from the government. Now what that means is, say a person is running a business, all the income that he'll be generating, every businessman will get an account with the government. All the income that will be generated will go directly into that account. After all the expenses that the businessman incurred have been paid off, the salaries to his employees have been paid off, everything has been done, whatever will be left, he can take all that home to a limit that it is maximum of 10 times that of the poorest of the poor for most of the lower level businesses. The business will be divided into classes, like from the lowest business will have maximum income of 10 times that of an ordinary person, and the maximum any businessman, the topmost businessman, can generate from a business would be 15 times the money a poor person will be getting from the government. So that is sort of the topmost cap, that you cannot earn anything more than that. Now what that means is, most of the businesses, say coffee shops, fruit shops, grocery stores, they are small businesses which will have a cap of maximum income of 10 times that of the poor, so that ordinary people like you and me can buy those businesses. And then as we extend the businesses further, the biggest businesses would perhaps be automobile industry, or say guns industry, or oil industry, or steel industry, mining industry. These are big industries. These are the biggest any industry can get. Now these industries will actually be government owned. However, there will be a share which will be sold to public in the sense that any person who can afford a bit of money to buy his share in that business, he will be given a share in that business. That share will be that the minimum money that the ordinary guy who will be partnering the government in that business, the minimum money that guy will be getting is 10 times the money the poorest of the poor will be getting. But the maximum money he can take out of from that business will be 15 times the money the poorest of the poor will be getting. And 15 times will be a lot of money. It'll be more like if say 10 times is 180, just a rough calculation, then add another 90,000 to it, that makes it $270,000 per annum, which is damn good money. You can buy anything with that kind of money, but that will be the maximum cap. Now what that will do is, that will allow more opportunity for people who are say earning 4 or 5 times the average earning. People will get more chances to do business. I'll explain these in detail in my video where I'll compare equalism with communism and capitalism. However, now that I'm talking, I'm fast losing a few things. A few things are slipping out of my mind. But before I lose everything, I would like to mention a few things. Like, say, the people who are on dole. Okay, the people who are government responsibility. Just because they are on dole doesn't mean that people will. Just because people will be government responsibility doesn't mean that everybody will happily go on dole. Every individual will be issued a card which will show whether that person is a government responsibility, or that person is an employee, or that person is a businessman. Now whenever anybody will go to buy anything, they'll have to show that card to make that purchase go through. Now the people who are on dole, they will be made to pay 10% more than the cost price of any product they'll be buying, because most of the money that government gives out on dole, that goes down on the drain in the form of alcohol. But anyway, even if it's not alcohol, even if it's grocery, if you are getting money from the government for doing nothing, then you ought to be paying more than people who are working hard. 10% more, they'll have to pay 10% more for anything and everything they'll buy. That way government will be recovering some money back from them, some more money back from them, and they will have more motivation to go out into the job market and get a job for themselves, primarily because they are getting the least money, and secondarily because they won't be able to buy much out of that money. They call a living expenses will increase. The people who will have employees card, they will get the more they are the ones who will get the discounted rates. That will be 10, they'll have to pay 10% less than the cost price, while those who will have business card, they'll pay the regular price. So the value of the money will sort of increase for everyone. Now, having said that, now that we have discussed that there will be cap at the how much a rich person can be, and there will be some sort of limitations for people who don't work, who are poor. And as I said, that I will compare equalism with communism and capitalism in my next video. But there was another important thing which just slipped out of my mind, if I can only remember what it was. Unless, well, even if anyway, looks like that's just slipped out of my mind. But I will make another video and update it whenever I'll get the ideas back. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.